What's up, everyone? Welcome to Texas Basher RC. Got a new car today? Let's take a look here. So I got this used. We're going to see if this is going to be a good deal or a bad deal. So ultimately, I was going to spend about 150 bucks on this. I ended up spending 100. This is what I get. I get a remote and I get the car. You can see by the body style, I think I looked it up. It's like a 2017-ish model, maybe a little newer, I'm not sure. But overall, it looks decent. It has a little wear and tear. You know, it's dirty. But the chassis plate isn't horribly scratched. You know, just some minor stuff and little scuffs. Nothing bent. But my concern was when you flip it over, you can't turn this at all. So it's very possible the motor's locked up. If so, that's unfortunate. I'm going to pop the glow plug out and put some WD-40 in there and let it sit. See if it can break it free. Kind of look inside of there and just see how bad it is inside. I'll probably take this carb off of here. You know, that doesn't look horrible. It looks like it still has a little oil in there, so that's good. But, you know, hopefully that's not water. It feels a little oily. So for now, you know, is what it is. We're going to bring it back to life and hopefully rip this thing. It's a Jato 3.3. I think it'll be awesome. Got the 2-speed transmission. I think it'll still be awesome if I can get it running. And even for $100, it's not horrible for a roller. But I'm going to get it all torn down, and I'm probably going to tear this thing down to nothing and just completely rebuild it. But before I get into all that, WD-40 in there, trying to see if the engine even runs. If the engine runs, I'll start buying a bunch of other parts and get this thing back to life. Give me a fresh body, maybe give me a TQI receiver at least. I have plenty of remotes and some new wheels. And for the most part, that might be it to get it running if the engine is good. But yep, so I just want to show you what we got started, and I'm going to tear into it, and I'll show you when I got a little more info to share. Well, I've made a little progress here. Got my glow plug out, and I got WD-40 down in here and down in there soaking. And the other cool thing is they gave me a TQ remote, so I was like, crap, does it not have, you know, does it have a cheap TQ? I open it up, we got a TQI inside, so that's cool. It doesn't have TSM, so I might upgrade it to TSM, but at least I got a TQI for now. Open the battery tray, and it does not have any corrosion, so that's good, but the wire is shot. It's been pinched and messed up several places, as well as the glow plug wire, so I'm going to get at least those wires coming. Because even if I put a new motor on this thing, I'm going to need those. Other than that, it appears my servo works up front. My throttle and brake servo seems to work too, or at least it's not stripped that I can tell. But my slide on my carb is frozen. So I think that this guy definitely did not take care of the motor. Either it got left in the rain and it got water in it, but it doesn't seem like it because nothing else seems to be rusted or corroded. So I'm thinking that they might have just overheated it and locked it up. I don't know why this is stuck, so hopefully having it sit with some WD-40 will break it loose. But more than likely I'm gonna need to pop this motor off of here and just fully go through it. Or like I say, Traxxas does do a trade-up program or a warranty trade program, so I could turn this in and get a brand new motor for, I think it's $110, which isn't too bad. Or I could upgrade to an OS motor. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do. But for now, I'm just going to let it soak and probably check back on it tomorrow and see if I can at least get it to turn over before I tear the motor out of it. Here's where I'm at with this thing. It's not looking good for me, you know. I guess I just bought a lemon. It was locked up. Unfortunately, you know, I only spent $100 on this. Maybe that's still a good deal. I'm not sure. I'm gonna do what I can, make the best of it. I'm gonna do is I got me a Tupperware here. I'm gonna start taking this thing apart. I'm gonna take the wheels off of it, kind of start to gut some of the electronics out. Ultimately, I'm going to completely rebuild this thing from the ground up, especially since I'm going to end up putting a new motor on it anyway. So I'm going to take it completely apart, put all new bearings in it, clean it, maybe do some upgrades, and put me a new motor on, and then we'll start ripping this thing. I think it'll still be cool. So yeah, I'm just going to tear some stuff apart, and I'll show you as I do that. Alright, well, I got the wheels taken off. Something I was noticing here though is, check that out. It looks pretty burnt right there on the bottom of that head. So very possible this guy overheated this thing and cooked it. Well, I got the tune pipe off, and check this out. Look at that. That is horrible. This thing has been sitting for a really long time. So I got my motor taken out. It is caked inside of there. So I gotta get the starter taken off and the motor mount. Then it'll be ready for a swap. I've made some progress here. I got quite a bit torn off. But got my motor out and all stripped down. I couldn't get this side off, so I'm gonna just have to buy another one. But I think this is where I'm gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna gather up a few parts, try to get me the new motor, and then eventually I'll get back to building this thing. I got it pretty torn down here, and you can tell it's just dirty. Got me a little stack of parts over here to get started with. Got my engine and a few other things, flywheel, battery holder. Also got some wheels for it. Still gotta get a body, but for now I'm gonna run that one. I'm trying to find a bearing kit, but everything's out of stock, so probably just gonna look through most of them and see if they're good, and run them for now, and then have to go back through it later and put a full bearing kit. I'm just gonna take this leftover part here and do my best to clean it, hose it down and clean it with some cleaner, get all the dirt off of it, freshen it up, then I'll dry it up, oil it down, and I'll start rebuilding this thing. Check over my servos while I got them out, make sure they work, and we should be ready to rip. I got everything cleaned up. You can see here, this is nice and clean looking. Got all the dirt off and grease. Oiled everything up the best I can for now. Like I said, I'm gonna end up getting some new bearings later, but I'll probably run back through it to do the whole bearing kit. It won't be too bad. So everything else over here is all cleaned up. I did forget to clean the muffler, so I still got to do that. Other than that, everything's pretty good. So I got a few parts down in my bucket, but for the most part, I'm going to be reusing a lot of stuff. I'm going to upgrade this steering link to an aluminum one, so there's just one little upgrade there. I had that laying around, so that won't be too bad. And then the clutch bell seems to be pretty good. No issues on the inside. So I am just going to put a new clutch on it. Other than that, I think I'm just going to get started. So first thing I'm going to do is get my motor out, get that all set up, get my clutch or my flywheel on it, and the clutch on it and everything. And then get that in place with the motor mount. I reused my old motor mount, and then I'll start working on getting this center plastic put back together with the servos. I still got to double check that my servos are good, but I think they are. What else? But yeah, I'm just gonna get it all thrown together, and then I'll show you guys as I go. Well, I'm been putting this thing back together, and I'm making some progress here. You see I got that one steering linkage upgraded. Better than this rusty old one. I've got the gas tank and all this down. Basically all I got left is to get my motor mounted in here. And then I could finish up the last few pieces of plastic and the side skirts. But waiting on one piece. There's a bearing, or like a bushing that goes in there that locks this on, and I forgot to get it. So I gotta wait for that, and then I'm gonna get the motor put in, and we'll be ready to test this thing out. Well, I'm back working on this thing. Finally got my body in. That thing's gonna look sick. Can't wait to get that opened up. I got the piece I was waiting for here, the little cone bushing, and then the new flywheel with the magnet on it, because I managed to get one over there that does not have a magnet. And if I'm going to do this, I might as well utilize the RPM sensor and stuff for speed. But yep, I mean, I got this thing mocked up. I think I showed most of this in the last little video. So I'm going to leave the pull starter on for now. I think it'll be fine. I have the easy start system, but I think it needs to be gone through. So I might add that back later on, but for now this will be fine. I like to use my own glow plug tool anyways, because usually those easy starters just don't have enough power to start it over. So what I'm going to do is get this motor slipped back out. I'm going to get all this flywheel, this put on. I'll get the clutch bell back there put on and get the motor ready to slip back in, and then I'll put it in here and finalize it after that. And then I can set my pinion with my spur gear here, and we'll be ready to rip. After that, I'll just be finishing up everything, make sure all the sensors are wired up, and then I already bound it to my remote over there. So I just need to open up the app, make sure the settings are all good. I also got some shock parts because I was missing a piece right there. So I got some shock parts in, and I got my wheels over there. So I'm ready to throw this thing together. So like I said, I'm gonna get this motor finished up and then get it thrown in. I got all of the batteries installed, got all that wired up. All the wiring is done. Got my switch wired here. Most of the wires are in the middle box there. Got my receiver and everything mounted in there. My antenna's installed. You tighten that down a little. All I got left is put the side skirts on and then get my muffler installed, and then run the fuel lines, and I think I'll be ready to rip. Put the wheels on. Oh, I do gotta find some wheelie bar wheels. Almost done. So let me get it finished up and then we'll be ready to start breaking it in. Alright, well, got it all finished up and ready to rip. This thing's gonna be awesome, and it looks clean. Love this color scheme they got on here, the orange and blue. Goes along well, especially I got the black chrome wheels. Managed to find me an old set of wheelie bar wheels on here, so I got those going for it. And we're ready to rip. Got everything in here all buttoned up, all the electronics are good. I just need to check my brakes and throttle with the new remote. And then got me a new end on the shock. I don't think there's anything else I was missing. Basically ready to fill it with gas and start doing the run in on the motor. So that'll take several runs. I'm probably not going to bore you too much on that. I might give you little clippets here and there, but for the most part it's ready. Thing turned out awesome. Ended up being a good deal. I think I'm about $300 in it so far, so that's not too bad. We're in new one's $500 right now. So if everything else works out pretty good, then I think I'll be alright. Well, let me get this thing outside and start running it in. Then got to run the motor, just idle it for a few runs, and then after that it'll be running it down the street lightly a few runs. There's a whole sequence to it, but I want to make sure this engine's nice and worn in, so that way I won't have no issues. All right, well that went pretty well. Got it idled. I need to adjust my throttle trim, but you know, I need to use the app to do that. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. I'm gonna get this thing run in, but I'm not gonna bore you with that. I'll make a new video on that by itself. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.